were on the fence before, and now
hang on. Here's Senator Graham with Manu. Let's listen.
About the difference in age and time, it smells bad to me. I've been very suspicious. Ms. Ford's allegation, I think something happened to her. We're going to listen to her tomorrow, but all the corroborating witnesses go the other way. I've always been interested in hearing from her, but this is getting into the twilight zone. You're talking about Brett Kavanaugh being a serial rapist during high school as a sophomore in high school. I have a hard time believing you did it then and you've never done it before.
Why shouldn't Mark Judge testify, though?
Mark Judge is now being accused of being a criminal, so if I were him, I would be careful of the times in which we live. I do believe it's important to invite Mr. Avenatti's client to come to the committee and be interviewed by staff. That should happen right now.
Should the proceedings be delayed until these allegations are investigated?
Absolutely not, because I think 2 days before the vote, 1 day before the hearing, from Avenatti, accusations that just, to me, you don't go to 10 parties if you see what she's claiming. You go to the cops. I think normal people would feel an obligation to do something about it. At least I hope they would. And I don't believe Brett Kavanaugh is a serial rapist. There's nothing in his background, the way he's lived his life, to give legitimacy to these claims. As to Ms. Ford, I look forward to hearing from her tomorrow. As to Mr. Avenatti, his client can come before the committee now and be interviewed in a bipartisan fashion, and we can go read about what was said and make your own decision before we vote.
But how can you agree with the president women to believe that? How can you be so certain if you haven't heard from her yet, from this new accuser?
I am telling you that affidavit, if it doesn't jump out...
Hang on, don't we want to keep listening to him? He's still talking. No?
To 10 parties over
He's
2
not. Okay,
years
okay.
where you witnessed
Okay,
drugging
we'll come back.
and raping.
So back with Caitlin and Julie, and we wanted to go to that. So you heard some of the similar themes. We heard Judge Kavanaugh, one of his statements coming out of this whole thing in the wake of this latest accusation. You know, it feels like he's in the twilight zone. You heard the same thing from Senator Graham, and also the same themes of, you know, Julie Swetnick in her sworn affidavit is saying she went to 10 plus of these parties where she saw, and again, nobody that I've seen is calling Judge Kavanaugh a serial rapist. She's just alleging that he was at the parties and was present as people were essentially standing in line and raping women, but that she's not alleging he was doing that. I just want everyone to have the facts and let's all be on the same page. But he's saying, you know, you don't go to 10 parties and not call the cops. Which
yeah,
is
he sounds...
Kavanaugh's lawyer.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham sounds downright angry there. He's saying that Brett Kavanaugh is being accused of being a serial rapist. He used that phrase multiple times there speaking with reporters. That comes after he put out a pretty blistering statement saying that if Republicans bail on this good man, and I'm quoting him, because of the smears and character assassination perpetrated by Michael Avenatti, we deserve our fate. That is sending a signal, of course, a lot of the concern around how the Republicans in the Senate are treating these accusers as what the effects will be on the midterms. And Lindsey Graham making clear there he does not think this nomination should be withdrawn just because there are a mounting number of allegations being made against him. And he's echoing a lot of what we've heard from President Trump himself, casting doubt on this third accuser because of who it is that is representing her. Michael Avenatti, the same lawyer who has represented the porn star who has made claims about having an affair with President Trump. So we are seeing that anger play out there. Of course, that comes as other people on Capitol Hill, like Senator Susan Collins, who is going to be a crucial vote for Kavanaugh if she does decide to vote for him, are voicing opposition to the president weighing in all of this and getting involved. She said that the president's comments about the second accuser being drunk and having lapses in her memory were appalling. She thought that they were inappropriate and wrong. Those comments that the president has made, not just about the second accuser, but also the first accuser, Christine Blasey Ford. So we're seeing what the difference is on Capitol Hill between the president's most ardent allies, people like Senator Lindsey Graham, who do not believe this nomination should be pulled, that these are smears and character assassination, and then those who are undecided on their vote for Judge Kavanaugh. Brooke, another thing this plays into is Christine Blasey Ford was concerned about coming forward, according to her attorneys, because she didn't think she would get a fair questioning from the senators on the Judiciary Committee. Lindsey Graham is on that Judiciary Committee, and you can see there he sounds pretty made up about what he thinks. He says have her come forward, but he makes it clear that he believes Brett Kavanaugh should be on the Supreme Court. Now, that also goes with other people like Senator Orrin Hatch, who said he likely wouldn't have even asked a question of Christine Blasey Ford. Now, of course, there's that, but they have brought in someone else to accuse them. But, Brooke, we're seeing just how much this drama is consuming Capitol Hill.
It's stunning. It's stunning, all of it. We're going to keep covering it from top to bottom. Ladies, thank you so much. Let's roll on. More on the special coverage. We are hearing from another key senator on this committee about the fate of the hearing tomorrow. Stay with me. You're watching CNN.
No, absolutely not. Because I think 2 days before the vote, 1 day before the hearing, from Avenatti, accusations that just, to me, you don't go to 10 parties if you see what she's claiming. You go to the cops. I think normal people would feel an obligation to do something about it. At least I hope they would. And I don't believe Brett Kavanaugh is a serial rapist. There's nothing in his background, the way he's lived his life, to give legitimacy to these claims. As to Ms. Ford, I look forward to hearing from her tomorrow. As to Mr. Avenatti, his client can come before the committee now and be interviewed in a bipartisan fashion. And we can go read about what was said and make your own decision before we vote.
Do you have the votes?
Here for the women to believe that. How can you certainly have
We have Senator Lindsey Graham speaking with reporters, basically saying that this vote for Kavanaugh absolutely should not be delayed. Amos, first of all, it was interesting. He was talking and referring to Brett Kavanaugh as not being a serial rapist. I don't believe that we've actually heard anyone accuse him of being a serial rapist. I want to bring back Amos Snead and DNC Associate Chair Jamie Harrison. Okay, let me just make this very clear. The latest and third accuser claims that she was gang raped after the punch was spiked in a high school party, and that Brett Kavanaugh and Mark Judge, his close friends, who she says they were attached at the hip, attached to the knee, were not actually in the room and did not have anything to do directly with this alleged gang rape, where she says that boys literally would line up, as she calls, in a train ready to enter a side room and take advantage and gang rape one after the other of a girl. So her story and Brett Kavanaugh's being at these parties and having anything to do with her alleged gang rape don't match up at this point. However, she claims that she does have witnesses to corroborate that story. But we haven't heard of them yet. And tomorrow, Dr. Blasey Ford is going to give her testimony. Does a vote get delayed by Friday? What is going to happen here, Amos?
I don't think a vote gets delayed. I think if you look at this, I mean, this is actually a sad state of politics we're in this country right now, where, I mean, people are being ruined on both sides of this with these accusations. And what message is this send to the next generation? If you would like to work in public service or you want to come work on Capitol Hill, you know, you and your family are going to have to go through this. And I think it's just turned into who can win, and it's winning at all costs. And I think if you just look at it, I mean, it's a really sad state that these things are coming up at the last minute, trying to derail a nomination to score political points.
I mean, clearly there is no time for an FBI investigation before the vote. So, Jamie, what happens?
Well, listen, Lindsey Graham's my hometown senator, and watching him just now, my blood pressure is sky high. You know, Lindsey's also a senator who voted against the Violence Against Women Act. You know, instead of running to a camera, he needs to run down to a battered women's shelter in Columbia, South Carolina, and speak to those women and ask them why they stayed in relationships time after getting beaten almost to the end of their lives by their husbands. These allegations are extremely serious, and they need to be taken seriously. We have as much time as we need in order to investigate this and make sure that if Judge Kavanaugh is not guilty of these things... Well, the Democrats have had months to investigate Dr. Blasey Ford, and they chose not to do so because Dianne Feinstein chose to hold that information. We have to go. There's no requirement in the Constitution that you got to get this done in a few months.
We have to have a hard break right now. We'll be right back.